sight, out of my end, the blind leading the blind leading the blind, the sign of the giant, out of sight, out of my end, the blind leading the
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live right here on the Value of Wrestling. We are back with another weekly edition after a week off where we did SPW Still Hungry event. We are back. The big man, Mr. Z, the future super heavyweight luchador, Senor Z. And me, it's me on the big time, and we are here to bring you this week's weekly roundup podcast, episode 64. We're going to bang it out. Lots to talk about, lots to get into tonight. It's going to be a fun time in the Old Town tonight. We hope that you'll join us, join in the chat, join in the conversation as we go over everything in this week in professional wrestling. Or something like that. Hold on. I see a little slight error. We're going to mix that up, and then we're going to be like, oh, there we go. Everything looking good. Anyways, another week of professional wrestling, the weekly roundup podcast. We are here to talk about all the news breaking in the world of professional wrestling. Last week, there was no episode because we were at SPW Still Hungry covering that event. And as you know, we are here each and every Sunday with your weekly roundup podcast, except the third Sunday of every month when we go do an SPW show. And Mr. Z.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just, like I said, busy men. That's all I can say. We are busy men. We are here as often as possible, unless SPW comes a calling.
There you go. Anyways, WWID still naming a lot of people, just adding name after name. It seems like every time we turn around, there is another name to add into the books. We know from SPW, one of the highlights, and a man we've seen live in action twice now, Jack Summit, the Cartwheel Jack Summit, is already set into WWID. But many, many other names have been added to the list. It keeps going on and on. I mean, they're picking up such great talent across the board. I think this week we saw names like Brad Baylor, Jackson Drake, Oasis Jordan was another big name that got in. Lots of names getting into the WWE ID program. And the crazy one this week that some people thought was fake until they realized it was true. Former AEW superstar, and no, do not say the words. We don't know anything. We're not going to stir the pot. We're not going to piss off AEW. So stay away from your favorite type of couch as we talk about WWID signing Kylie Ray to WWID. Kind of a second chance, a second coming for Kylie Ray. We wish her the best. Hope that she makes it. But Kylie Ray, WWID.
She deserves it. I mean, it's worth the shot. I mean, she's been in the industry for a while now, and has given her best shot, not just here in the States, but has been to Stardom a few times. Yeah, no, I mean, it's worth it. I mean, when your life come full circle, and maybe this time it'll pan out better than the last.
No, Kylie Ray signed. We'll have to see what happens along with all the other names, and we keep watching names getting signed to these WWID deals. It kind of can be scary because some of the big names out there in the independent world could get signed and disappear off into the world of WWE, NXT. I mean, we're happy that they're going to be there, but it's just sad that we may not get to see them live in person much longer because anything is possible. Last night,
I mean, there's a good handful.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, there's a good handful, and we know of one, and that man is on a tear right now. It's only a matter of time that he might get ID'd.
Yes, very, very true. Last night, AEW brought you Full Gear, and I don't know, Full Gear lived up to some of the talk that came out after Full Gear when Full Gear and Tony Khan brought you the Scrum with some of the most entertaining segment when the Hurt Syndicate took over the Scrum and shot everybody and anybody down. If you didn't come with a real question, MVP, well, didn't have your time. At one point, somebody from the Wrestling Observer tried to ask a question. MPB says we don't take questions from that nerd. Shut them down. Another person came up and asked Bobby Lashley about AEW being loaded with black champions, and Lashley quickly shut that down, going, we're not doing that shit no more. There isn't a black champion. There isn't an Asian champion. There's not a Latino champion. There is just a champion. The Hurt Syndicate, no nonsense. If you didn't have a real question, MVP was shutting him down. It was some of the most entertaining scrum time I've seen. Watching the Hurt Business just take this over and shut them down. One question was started to be asked, and MVP's like, I'm not answering your question. Move on. Tony Khan's like, I'll answer your question. But hey, some great stuff coming out of the scrum with the Hurt Syndicate doing what needs to kind of be done.
And what I seen too, it was like if you were nervous and didn't have the set of grapefruits to even ask a question, he was shutting it down real quick. I mean, lucky for us, I got my question out when we got to see him out here before he went into full MVP mode. So, I mean, this is what we got to look forward to. Tony, give us a call. We're not scared to ask them questions. We're not that far away. We're only an email or a phone call away.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Hurt Syndicate doing some great stuff at these scrums. I had to love it. We didn't get this type of MVP at Lodi Comic-Con in September. I forget when all that is. There's so much going on. We went from that to wrestling, a collectible Stampede wrestling event to Ghouls, Frights, and Wrestling Tights and everything else in between. It's been a busy latter half of 2024 for us, and it's still not over. There's still lots to do because on December 8th, we're headed to Roseville, California to join Lucha Santa, and I think we're going to sign another name to the Choppy storyline. Lucha Santa already making an announcement that he's going to chop the Super Luchador, the Super Heavyweight Luchador, into the next major event. From what I understand, he's going to chop you into Christmas.
Well, anything to get me off the naughty list, I'm all for it.
Well, we'll see if he can chop you off that naughty list and onto the nice list. I think we might have to interview somebody else to see if you've been on the naughty or nice list. We'll see what she has to say.
Uh-oh.
The super heavyweight luchador's own better half. I mean, she could be Senorita Z. We could get her own luchador mask and let her run wild. That could bring a whole different level to the game. Oh, he's getting giggly now. He's imagining. He just had that whole vision of like, that might be a bad idea.
Oh, and then speaking of bad ideas, okay, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna go thumb through the last SPW show we did. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna pick apart what we need to do better. And when I came across the epic meat chant that you had to bite on, which was horrible, I was like,
you did it,
laughing.
You did it to yourself.
I gave it to you.
You went, and I had to go, it's like that. Go ahead.
You can clearly hear the fans chanting meat, and all you hear me go is, "Oh boy." And I'm look that's probably about the time I looked over at you to see if you caught it and put my headset down.
And then the singers and the lines came, and you turned more red than a tomato. I mean, you were on the level of going purple. You were almost value of wrestling purple. It was good stuff, though. I mean,
Yeah, it was good.
if you could get to that point in the show where they did that, I know the episode's a little choppy here and there. There's a little, but when that moment happened, it was great stuff.
That's all bad. All bad.
No, it's all good. But hey, it's always good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's always going to be stuff going on with Value Wrestling. We're moving into the end of 2025. AEW Full Gear was last night. We covered that right here on the show. You can go back and check that out. The media scrum was the most entertaining thing. Tonight, taking place was Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 12. And, of course, next Saturday, we're going to be here with your Survivor Series breakdown. As Survivor Series is going to finally happen, we're going to talk about the fifth man, lots of other things. But Bloodsport taking on tonight. Is it worth the watching? Is it not? If you don't want spoilers, you might want to leave the room for a little bit or tune into something else or stay with us and then go watch this wonderful show. But Bloodsport went down tonight with the stat card. Lou Nixon and Calvin Tateman went one-on-one. Calvin Tateman coming out top in that endeavor. Matt Makowski and David Mods Mana Chivalry. Okay. That's a name and a half. If you can pronunciate that, I give you more credit. David Mods Mana Chival gets the win tonight. Carmen Petrovich and Sumi Saki went on one. Petrovich coming out with a big win in that match. Dominic Garini and Kevin Koo tying it up by Dominic Garini coming out on top. And if I'm not hitting these names right, don't judge me. We're learning as we go. NXT superstar Charlie Dempsey and it took on Tracy Williams in a solid fight. Dempsey and Williams delivered a technical showcase, taking the fight to the mat and engaging in the battle of grappling prowess. The match saw an array of submission holds, including a triangle, a stretch muffler, a toe hold, and more. You got your traditional mat wrestling. In the end, Dempsey secured a victory with a decisive armbar, forcing Williams to tap out. Dempsey entered this bout with a 1-1 record amid a bounce back from his previous loss to Royce Isaac at Bloodsport 11. Fans were fully engaged, chanting NXT during this match. Charlie Dempsey with a big win again tonight. All right, everything looking good. Are we solid? Why are we having so many hiccups there? I don't know. Anyway, moving along. Marina Shafir showing up with the one and only AEW World Champion. Jon Moxley took on Jody Threat. I don't know why that said her. This is not the match with Masha Slamovich. Shafir was accompanied to ring by Moxley, who made a surprise appearance and electrified the crowd. A rare moment in Bloodsport came when Jody Threat executed a dive to the outside, landing Shafir and drawing a GCW chant. A solid match here as Marina Shafir came out on top. Masha Slamovich takes on Li Yi Ling. Anyway, Slamovich retains her championship in a great victory. Royce Isaac took on Miles Bourne. Royce Isaac continuing his winning ways, coming out with a big win there. And Josh Alexander took down Speedball Mike Bailey in what was a most awesome match, a match that most people are going to want to see. So if you haven't watched this event, that was worth it in its own right. When Josh Alexander took out Speedball Mike Bailey. And finally, the main event, MVP took on Josh Barnett. And Josh Barnett took MVP to the limit, finished the tide turn when Barnett locked in a chokehold that MVP couldn't escape, forcing him to tap out. And MVP came out disoriented and attempted to attack the referee. After the match, MVP and Barnett hugged in the ring, showing mutual respect. MVP then cut a promo, putting Barnett over, emphasizing Barnett's skills in the spirit of Bloodsport. Barnett then issued a challenge for someone to step up and face him at the Hammerstein Ballroom before going off the air. Everybody wanting to do business at the Hammerstein Ballroom 2025 looks like the year that the Hammerstein Ballroom is really going to have a great time. But Bloodsport, solid showing.
You know, like I'm gonna have to go back and watch, but it's you got Calvin Takeman, who was, if I'm not mistaken, was Kimbo Slice's final fight before he passed on. A great heavyweight in his own right as far as MMA. So this was right up his alley, but just got outworked, and outmanned and outworked. He's not much on the gas tank. Doesn't take much to gas this big boy out. But the main event, I'm okay with, but you got to go with the Josh Alexander, a great amateur wrestler. I mean, to take Speedball Mike Bailey, ground him out, and just overwork this man. Kind of a lose-lose situation stepping into the ring with him. So, but when have you seen a title defended on a Bloodsport that wasn't one of their own? And TNA Women's Knockout Champion defending her belt. That made it very interesting.
TNA making sure their belt gets all around, whether it's WWE or Bloodsport. Lots going there. Ladies and gentlemen, AEW has announced the Continental Classic tournament is going to take place this year, and it's starting within this week. And so tonight, just before we went live on the air, they announced the brackets. They're breaking it down, and we're going to go over it. If you haven't heard, welcome to the show. And here is how, if it goes down. In the Blue League this year, you have the Continental Crown Champion, Kazuchika Okada, there to defend his Continental title. Also in the Blue League, Shelton Benjamin. I believe the return of Mark Briscoe, who last year did not have a great showing in the Continental Crown tournament. Hopefully this year he gets a little better of a showing. Joining the Blue League will be Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher coming into the tournament after a big win at Full Gear over Will Ospreay. Daniel Garcia also coming off a big win from Full Gear, winning the TNT title from Jack Perry. He's a part of the Blue League. And finally, rounding out the sixth man in the Blue League tournament, the Beast Mortis. Now, all six of these men will compete against each other. The winner of the Blue League will take on the winner of the Gold League to go on at World's End to be crowned or retained, depending on who gets there, the Continental Champion. Anyways, heavy favorites look like to be Kazuchika Okada and Kyle Fletcher out of the Blue League. The Gold League. Now, I believe Darby Allin will be a part of the Gold League. I do not believe Darby Allin was in this tournament last year. Claudio Castagnoli, another returning name, if I remember correctly, will be a part of the Gold League. Brody King returning to the Continental Crown tournament one more time, part of the Gold League. Also joining the Gold League, Will Ospreay, Ricochet, and Juice Robinson. Those are your 12 men in this tournament. Again, the Blue League, Kazuchika Okada, Shelton Benjamin, Mark Briscoe, Kyle Fletcher, Daniel Garcia, and the Beast Mortis. The Gold League consisting of Darby Allin, Claudio Castagnoli, Brody King, Will Ospreay, Ricochet, and Juice Robinson. Are we going to see at World's End, will Kazuchika Okada retain through the Blue League, and will Ospreay overcome to win the Gold League, or will Kyle Fletcher pick up the win in the Blue League? Will we see Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay tied up one more time? We are going to get to see Will Ospreay and Ricochet tied up again. Will Ospreay and Brody King should be a solid match. Will Ospreay and Claudio Castagnoli, a lot of great matches. Darby Allin and Will Ospreay should be a great match. This one looks a little better than it was last year, but we're going to have to wait and see. The Blue League seems a little lighter. But, I mean, you do have Okada, Fletcher, and Garcia. So we'll have to see how it all plays out and what happens at World's End when the winner of the Blue League takes on the winner of the Gold League. Mr. Z, you're Mr. New Japan. You're Mr. Tournaments. You know all about these things. Tell us how you feel about the Continental Tournament.
Well, you could already point out favorites in this as you see fit. Okada, Will Ospreay, they're men of valor when it comes to tournaments like this. They're no stranger to these at all. Um, I feel like the sleeper in this one would have to be the stray bullet, Juice Robinson. We haven't seen him do much of any. He's not a stranger to tournaments either, as he's competed in World Tag League several times. Two-time World Tag League winner with his partner at his partner in crime at one point. But I feel like that the bracket that Okada is, it's light. There's not much. I don't think there's much competition there. But you look at the other bracket and you're like, okay, I really can't call it, but if it boils down to it, we're either gonna get Okada and Osprey or Fletcher and Osprey. That's my take.
It's going to be interesting to see who comes out at top. We're going to have to wait till World's End to see how this all plays out. Anyways, let's talk about Wrestle Dynasty before we get into this will lead us into New Japan and the New Japan Rebound podcast for this week. But we're going to start a little bit of a talk about Wrestle Dynasty as Kenny Omega came on air, did an interview and talked about how he's making his return to professional wrestling after diverticulitis. It looks like he is cleared, but he's not returning to AEW, or rather to a New Japan show. Though Tony Khan was asked at the Scrum, why is Kenny returning for New Japan and not AEW? He did refer to the fact that the show is a joint effort between AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and Stardom. For some reason, he left CMLL off that list, so we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But Kenny Omega saying that AEW basically doesn't need him, that they have enough stars and stacked, that Kenny Omega it's better to be in New Japan to make his return than the need of him being in AEW. Seems there's a lot of friction here. It seems like there's a changing of a guard as we talk about this. Also, it was also reported this week that Jon Moxley was given full creative control, and his idea is to take down what is AEW, burn it down, and rebuild it in his vision. With that much creative control, if Jon Moxley is the face and the man behind the place now, that really changes up a lot of things. Are we changing of guard? Do we have a new face of this company? Is Jon Moxley the man for AEW? What does this mean for the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega going forward? Where is their position? Omega seems to be more distant from AEW than anything. I don't know if he has the spirit that he once had. Is Kenny Omega ready to walk away from AEW? Is he wanting to go back to New Japan? Would he be willing to jump to WWE for the right numbers? It's going to be very interesting to see what is going down, but it is interesting to hear Omega talk about how he wanted to go to New Japan because AEW didn't really need him. Mr. Z, you're the New Japan Pro Wrestling expert. You know about this big event. You know Kenny Omega and Gabe Kidd have started that storyline. They're going to tie it up at Dynasty. It's going to be a hell of a bang of a match. But, what is your thoughts and takes on the Kenny Omega interview, the changing of the guard?
Well, first I'm gonna go ahead and touch on the match at Dynasty. Gabe Kidd is a hell of an up and coming talent. I've watched this man from his young lion up to joining Bullet Club and gaining his own personality and building and growing into his own man outside of the young lion system. He's going to be a threat and a hell of a challenge for Kenny Omega. You got age versus youth, uh, experience. Experience should win this, but I don't see that. I don't see it coming down to that. I do see Gabe Kidd pulling off that big win if the match goes in his favor. But as far as Omega not coming back to the States, that's kind of odd. It's not. I mean, to be a cornerstone of AEW, like where does this leave his stake in that company? if he's not going to come back, and saying that AEW has enough stars. We've talked about this on multiple times that they have more than enough wrestlers on these on hand, and only 30% of them see TV time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It kind of makes me wonder: is there personal friction between these men? I mean, we knew Cody up and left, and we'll never find out what happened there. Omega not coming back. Well, we don't know what's going to happen there either. So,
Well, Tony
I mean,
Khan
like
did
you
leave.
said, if for the right, go ahead.
Tony Khan did leave some reference that it looks like Omega will be back with AEW at some point. It's just making his return to AEW, where you would think he'd make that big return after being out of wrestling due to an illness, but he's going to make that big return for New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think Kenny Omega is more settled on being in Japan. He'll eventually make his return to AEW, but I don't know what the long-term venture is and where he is when this contract with AEW comes up.
Well, that, and like you said, for the right number, he might go to WWE. I'm not opposed to. Can we? I mean, we've seen many, so I'm all for it.
So it should be very interesting how it all plays out, why it plays out the way it does. It's going to be a story, and time is only going to tell what that story is. So we're just going to have to sit here and wait and see how that story comes to be. But, yeah, okay, there we go. We're back in and out. He's playing games. I don't know what he's doing. Mr. Z!
Oh, no. I one of my one of my little pieces fell over here and cut the wire, so my bad.
Mr. Z, give them this sample of the week. What is going down in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling? What can people expect when we post the New Japan Pro Wrestling podcast, the New Japan Rebound podcast this week on Wednesday?
5 nights of World Tag League for you folks. I mean, it's all fair game right now because we're 5 nights deep into it. But right now, the strongest showing of any tag team. And for me, Block A is undefeated tag team right now. There is none. They have no undefeated tag teams right now. You have 2 teams with no wins. That'd be Alex Zane and Rizuke Taguchi, Funky Sauce, Bullet Club, the OGs, Chase Owens and Kenta with no wins right now. So not looking too hot for them. United Empires, and we joked about Jeff Cobb. They're at 6 points right now. And that's because we haven't seen them with any titles lately. Jeff Cobb, coming up fresh off his loss of the World TV title. So he's a man on the mission right now. Block B, it's fair game as well. Hiroshi Tanahashi, the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and his tag partner Jado with no points. And leading the pack, it's only 4 points. House of Tortures, Evil, and Ren Narita. I'm not going to talk about how they win their matches. If you watch the rebound, you already know it's done. House of Torture doing House of Torture business. We'll see what's left leading into the final night of World Tag League.
And that is your sample of New Japan Pro Wrestling. That'll be all out on the Rebound podcast this Wednesday. Yes, it'll be Wednesday. I know it was on Tuesday, then went to Wednesday, then went back to Tuesday. Now it's back on Wednesday because things have slightly shifted here at the Value Wrestling, as Monday Night Raw cannot be reviewed after Monday Night Raw anymore due to other commitments by your boys here at the Value Wrestling each and every week. So your Monday Night Raw reviews will be posted up on Tuesdays. We will go live at some point on Tuesdays to cover everything Monday Night Raw. Wednesdays will then give you the New Japan Rebound podcast. Thursdays, of course, we're here with the IWCP, the Independent Wrestling Community Podcast, which is a lot of fun and becoming one of the great ones. We have a special guest coming up on December 12th for that show. So make sure you're here at least for December 12th. Hoping to get somebody for December 5th. If you are an independent wrestler or independent wrestling company, wherever you are, and you would like to come on the podcast and tell us what you're doing and coming up in your major events, please reach out to us. We have December the 5th open, and every date after December 12th. So that would be the 19th, and then I think the 26th, the day after Christmas. If you're not busy on the 26th, you might want to join us and get us all prepared for what's going on coming into the new year, what big wrestling events in the area and across the landscape of independent wrestling is going on, because we're going to be bringing into the new year. So there probably won't be an IWCP this week because that is Thanksgiving, but we'll let you know. Who knows, after we belly up to the bar and get our tummies full, maybe Mr. Z and I can find some place in some way to sit down with you all and talk independent wrestling, because you know we love it, and we want to make independent wrestling great again. We want to make sure people know that independent wrestling is one of the hottest things going on in the world of professional wrestling. WWE is great, AEW is great, TNA is great. You have GCW making their move, NWA holding out names, even Memphis Wrestling making a buzz once again. And all we want to do is help it blow that up and make sure people are paying attention, because independent wrestling is amazing. Just with some of the names and the companies that we've seen and we are associated with, and we're getting more connected each and every time we get a little deeper into the sand pile of independent wrestling. But yes.
I mean, that's, what more, like, folks, you can't help but be excited for independent pro wrestling. I mean, it's the hottest thing out here right now. I mean, who's not going to go and spend $15 at the door to watch a 2.5-hour show of talent that you might never see again until they're on TV? Yeah, but enjoy them while they're here. Get a picture with them, get an autograph, talk to them, get to know them.
And that's,
look at our current SPW heavyweight champ. We get to know him. Who knows where he'll be next?
yes, your SPW heavyweight champion, reigning for over 400 days, the Dark Fox Illuminated, the Obsidian Adonis, a man that you need to come out and see at any SPW show or any show that he is on, wherever he be, whether he be wrestling for SPW or PPW or the Ugly Dojo or Oasis Pro Wrestling or any of the big names in the area that keep popping up. You need to catch this man while you can in this area, because that man is something special. And once he goes to the big leagues, it's going to be something different. And if you don't know, you need to know, because if you know, you know. And we got to know. And we're big supporters of the Dark Fox Illuminated. We have much respect for the champ, for that man, and we can't wait to sit down and talk to him again. December 12th may be a very special day that you may want to be here for the IWCP, the Independent Wrestling Community Podcast. That is going to be the Thursday before the Saturday, when SPW brings you Hostile Holiday on December 15th. Can't wait to see this card come out. Will the champ be there? I'm pretty sure we'll either be defending the title. Oh, you better believe there'll probably be a great title match for SPW Hostile Holiday. Who will be the number one contender for that title match? We have to wait and see. Will Daniel Torch be defending his newly crowned Extreme title at SPW Hostile Holiday? Will we see an Extreme Holiday event? I think you can bet on that. And there'll probably be some great tag team action along with a lot of other things. What is the Honor Society going to have to say after they lost the trios titles to Chris Wildfire, Blaze, Patrick Fitzpatrick, and the one and only ECW legend, this Smoky Mountain legend, the man, the myth, the legend, one half of one of the legendary tag teams of professional wrestling, the Gangsters, the one and only Mustafa Saeed.
Oh, man. That's a hell of a card, man. That's going to be a hell of a card either way. I'm ready for these matches to come out, that's for sure.
Yeah, we're waiting for the booking cards. We're waiting to hear some more. We got a lot of things. And ladies and gentlemen, guess what? That means SPW Hostile Holiday will be the debuting episode for us as we put together this program for you. We will be recording it on that Sunday. Then we're going to put it together, make it look pretty, and we'll be debuting it over with a working agreement with SPWB on SPW TV. You need to go subscribe to SPW TV. On YouTube. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel, because that's going to be up there. And then we're going to do the Thursday after that. We will have a review show. We'll have some of the content to show and share with you here, so we can get you hyped up for it. So that's going to be fun. It's going to be a new program. That's going to be fun. It's going to be lots of fun, ladies and gentlemen. some major interviews, some fun stuff. We're going to have this thing all put together. Yes.
Oh no, I'm just excited. I'm excited for the direction that we've come to, and we've grown and where we're heading. You 2024, we were like, okay, we'll see let's really see what happens if we push the doors a little bit. I didn't think that opened that wide.
And I can't wait to get with our boy who started a lot of this journey for us. See, last year around late July, early August, we put this into motion again. This originally opened kind of earlier, but kind of fell flat. But we really made the push to really see what we could do. And we got through the end of last year, and the beginning of this year really became a launching pad as me and Mr. Z met up and went to Stockton Con Winter Edition 2024. This was our first event. We went to that show together, and we had a fun time. We went as paying guests on that episode, or on that one. That's where Mr. Z introduced me to the one and only big supporter of this channel, our buddy AJ Kirsch, the voice of Stockton Con, the man who's behind he's doing that bingo. I can't think of the name of the bingo. It's blanking my head right now. He is just the man, the former voice in association with Hood Slam and so many other things. And we met AJ. He gave a shout out on the channel. Of course, we started up with Jake I Fought 2 before that, before he got signed to WWE. And then we just launched into things that have just been incredible. Yeah, AJ Kirsch doing Bingo Loco, King Trivia. He is going to be at Bot Wrestling in Lompoco, California. And, of course, he's showing up on the 14th and 15th in Sacramento for the Sacramento Gamers Expo. That should be interesting. See, here's what you can do. Sacramento, California, Saturday, December 14th and Sunday, December 15th. If you're coming up to Sacramento to check this out, after you get done with it on Sunday, you should come over to Elk Grove, California, out to SPW Hostel Holiday, because that'll be a solid event. So you can go do the gamer convention beforehand, then come out and drink out some great wrestling action. That should be some great stuff. I have a feeling that's going to be a busy day for us, too. We'll have to see how that all comes together.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
I mean,
go ahead.
That sounds like a good time. Saturday, you're at this expo having a great time. Sunday, you go finish it out. And then on the way home, you're like, you know what? I still got time to burn. Take that quick exit. Go to the SPW arena or the World Soccer Indoor Arena and catch some live wrestling, and then head home. Sounds like a nice full day, a nice full weekend to me.
Yeah, it's going to be one hell of a weekend. It's going to be a fun time. But, I mean, it all started with AJ kind of launching this in, and then we got into the summer, and boom, Matt Cardona and the Choppy Tour started off. Rebel Warriors Championship Wrestling, we made our debut appearance with them. Then we showed up at SPW's Lemonade, finally getting connected with SPW after Stockton Con. Then we went back to Stockton Con, in the summer event. That's Matt Cardona, and we got the connection with SPW. And we showed up at SPW's Lemonade, and it was a blast from there. And it was show after show, and we've just been blowing it out of the water, getting deeper and further along. Where we started last year at into where we are today, where we're going to end this year, I don't think we could have predicted this is what we'd be doing. I don't think some of the things were thoughts in our brains, things that you dream of, bucket list moments, opportunities that you're like, if it ever happened, great. And now we're starting to cross off bucket list moments, and it's crazy to sit here and go, we're on the cusp of something that we're on the cusp of something that's life-changing, at least for me and Mr. Z in ways, because I don't think if you would ask us at the beginning of the year, we would be saying we are about to do what we're doing now. But I don't even think we would have been thinking that we'd be covering events. I don't even think we'd be talking about recording a whole event and then going back, adding it, putting it together, doing the commentary to it, and all the things that are coming up. And we're building into SPW's One Supreme Night, the 25th anniversary show. And we still have so many other things that are lined up that are coming around. Realm Warriors Championship Wrestling, Stockton Con Winter Edition, Collectible Stampede has another event coming up sometime, hopefully in February. Busy man, busy time. SPW every third Sunday, plus what other extra events they do. Ladies and gentlemen, it's crazy to think where we were and where we're going, and we can't wait to get to the end of the year. The last Sunday of the year for us right here on the Weekly Roundup podcast. That'll be the 29th of December, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be a 5th Sunday of the month. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be crazy to think about all that. But December 29th is going to be a special edition of this very show right here, because it's going to be a yearly wrap-up where we talk about everything that has gone down. Ladies and gentlemen, we're building into...
Yeah, that'll make it very interesting.
Go ahead.
Well, go ahead. Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah,
Let me go ahead and shoot it, because that'll be very interesting, because a lot of things have happened. A lot of changes have happened. And like I said, there's still a lot of year left, and we're only gearing up, kicking into the new year and ready to just hit the ground running even harder, because who knows what's going to come on the other side of that hill.
Exactly. It's going to be crazy. 2025 is going to be a chance for a big change too. And that's going to be interesting. Oh, there you go. We just got a new follower on Instagram. The Nasty Boy, AJ Hernandez.
Nice.
So, anyways,
nice.
And if you want to reach out to us, you can go on to Instagram and follow us there at Value of Wrestling Official. Make sure you do that, because that's going to be a great way to reach out to us if you want to come on any of our programs. We're open to interviews. We'd love to do interviews with any independent wrestlers, promoters, bookers, anybody out there. If you're listening, reach out to us, valueofwrestling@gmail.com, or look us up at Official on Instagram. You can also find us on X at Miguel Z Vow, or Big Time Vow. That's VOW. Holla at your boys. Let's set something out. Let's book it. Let's get it going. Ladies and gentlemen, the end of this week, next Saturday, will bring us Survivor Series, and it's going to be a huge changing landscape as War Games is on the precedence. And last Friday, we found out who the 5th member for the original OTC bloodline is going to be. The Wise Man making his return to WWE TV after a long absence, after being put through a table by the Solo Sokoa Timu bloodline. And he comes back bringing the 5th man. The interesting aspect is that Paul Heyman was wearing the same red shirt and jacket with a red hanky sticking out of it, looking like Solo Sokoa. Is there a reason there, and why? Why did Paul Heyman choose it to be CM Punk to be the 5th man? CM Punk and Roman Reigns going to have to work together in War Games. Is going to be very interesting to see. We'll be here for Survivor Series. We're going to break it all down for you. But what's the story? There's a story that was built. It's slowly building. CM Punk being brought into this. It's going to be an interesting year. I think WWE's got a lot of great storylines, long-term booking going into 2025 that are going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. How you feeling about it, Mr. Z?
Yeah, I'm not so much feeling about the whole what Paul Heyman was wearing, but I did see that they were showing the footage of CM Punk not too happy of the Timu bloodline power bombing Mr. Heyman through a table, because if we if history is where it's at, you're talking about the original Paul Heyman guy, at least for right now. But we all know who the first Paul Heyman guy was before Paul Heyman was the Wise Man and the Advocate. That was Undertaker, or Mean Mark, is what he was known as.
Well, Paul E. Dangerously had several men he represented throughout the years. I mean, we could go down a list of great men like the Ravish One, Rick Rude, and he was a big pusher of Stone Cold Steve Austin back when he was stunning Steve Austin in WCW. Ladies and gentlemen, Survivor Series should be a banger of a time. It'll be a great event. We can't wait to sit down and watch that. And after that, we will be here to review it all for you, to break it down, to give you all the details of everything that went down, how it played out. It's going to be an interesting time. We hope that you'll join us for that show.
Yeah.
After Survivor Series, we're going to break it all down for you, ladies and gentlemen. It should be a good time. So make sure you're here for with us Saturday after Survivor Series, and we will get there. Otherwise, be here Tuesday at some point. You'll see the announcement. We're going to cover Monday Night Raw. Wednesdays, the New Japan Rebound podcast will be posted on the channel. Thursdays, the IWCP will be live. It should be a fun time. Again, if you're an independent wrestler, independent contractor, independent booker, and want to come on this show this Thursday, maybe not this Thursday, but maybe December the 5th. Everything this Thursday is tentative, so we'll hold on to that. Friday, we'll be back with your SmackDown post-show review. Saturday, of course, will be your fallout from Survivor Series. The next Sunday, we'll be back with another episode of the Weekly Roundup podcast. And then we start all over again, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you ring that bell for notification. Give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. The Value of Wrestling is making moves. You better believe we're going to make some moves.
Oh, yeah. Fun times coming, folks. Fun times coming. You want to be here for it. And just enjoy the ride, because we sure the hell have.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, maybe next week Mr. Z will have a better reason to wear the shirt he's wearing. I mean, I'm sure tonight he's going to go cry tears.
Hey, I knew going into this week was going to be a bad one. I already knew it. I didn't even have to fight.
Bad was an understatement. Bad was an understatement. This was a decimation. This was a stomping. This was a the Packers packed up the Niners and shipped them back home via USPS. Yeah. It was a mugging. I mean,
oh, I know, and the 1 week I don't do the traditional football picks for a free bowling ball. I already knew it was going to happen. I didn't even want to touch the spreadsheet. Nothing. I was like, all right, let's just get ready for next week, because this was going to be bad. Either way you looked at it. I mean, as a fan, I get hope, but I mean, I hope in one hand and in the other, and which one's going to fill up first? We'll find out.
It's going to be interesting to see. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. We thank you for being here. We will see you on the next one.
Good night, folks.